This video is going to show you how to quickly set due dates and make sure everything lines up for your course assignments and things that will be graded. All right, so in the previous video, we looked at course completion. And just as a reminder, course completion must be set for material items before the due dates are set. Because essentially what happens is if you set the due dates first and then turn on course completion, it will wipe out the due dates. It's just how Schoology works. It's something that goes on with their coding behind the scenes. So in this video, I'm assuming that you already set the course completion on for whatever material items that you need. And then when you're on the main course page, all right, so I'm just on wherever I go when I'm first in the course, you'll notice that there's this All Materials button. All right, when I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to click on Assignments or something else in your course that has graded items. All right, so I'm going to just click Assignments because it's the first thing. One thing you'll notice is that it filters and only shows assignments on this page right now. But one thing that it does that's kind of hidden is it has a new option to pick if I click on this option button for bulk editing. All right, so I have to click on this, make it show assignments first, then I click options, then I click bulk edit. Then it takes me to this screen where I have all of my basically potentially graded items showing up here. All right, what you'll notice is that each of the items are going to be listed alphanumerically. All right, so this is where our naming scheme comes into play. So you'll notice that we labeled things by unit and lesson number. So you can see our 1.1s are listed first, 1.2s listed next. And the goal for having this naming scheme was to make it easier for this bulk edit purpose. All right, so that way you didn't have to scramble through a random list of a lot of materials, especially if a course is being reused from year to year and has a lot of stuff in it. All right, it's not going to be perfect with our naming scheme. For example, the first one that we have here is the 1.1 and 1.2 assessment. So essentially with those things, we're going to just have to know that, all right, this is something that's going to technically come after 1.2, but at least we can kind of keep it grouped with other things so we have an idea for when it should be due. Along with here, you're going to be able to choose the category so you can verify that your different lesson materials are going to the category that you want it to. All right, so I can see, oops, I forgot to make this discussion graded. If I want to make it graded, I just say, all right, I'm going to put this in the assessment category or whatever category it goes with. As you can see, I can also double check. I want to make sure my attendance check-in are under the classwork category, which in this case they are. On this page, you can also update and override the actual maximum points. We're not going to really worry about the scale factor, but here's where you would set the due date as well. So if I know, for example, that all of this stuff, I mean, it's the beginning of the course here, is going to be due the first week, I can just literally go to my item and say, all right, this is all going to be due on Friday. So I'll just go through this really quick, set these due dates. And then I'll also have to put in a time. So by default, it tries to make everything 11:59. So you can pick the time that works for you. So as you go through this, you'll get quick at putting this information in. So this will take a minute to go through. And for some reason, some show up and give you the option for 11:59 right away. And sometimes I have to type it in. But essentially, I just go through and set all these due dates. And then for the period, this is the marking period that it's going to be graded in. So I'm using a sample class here. So my only option is the open grading period. You would just want to make sure that whatever marking period is taking place, that you actually go through and set this to be whatever that marking period is. All right, so just be marking period 1, marking period 2. And then when you're finished setting all of these, just go ahead and hit Save Changes. I'll set this just so we have another date showing up here. All right, then if I go back to the course homepage, now you'll see these items are all showing up as being due. All right, the students can click on these directly as well. It'll give them another place to go to complete these things if they needed to get caught up on something. But you can see that the course completion would be turned on for these, and they would have a due date as well, which would help you keep organized and would be great for when you're syncing with Skyward, so it's keeping all of the dates and everything consistent with what you want it to. All right, if you have any questions about getting these dates and due dates and everything set up, just feel free to contact us. We'd be more than glad to help you make sure that everything is good to go for your students here. The next video is going to be about updating your weekly pacing guide and making sure that it's good to go to be able to share it with students.